Hello out there. Hope you're doing alright. Battling space madness successfully. Out in the black. We back, baby. And with the potential early 2021 release date, Odyssey is rapidly approaching us like a pirate in heat for your precious LTDs. But never fear. Just like me, you can easily be shaking those pesky vultures off and getting to the real Odyssey of the galaxy. So strap on in. Make sure your fuel scoops are operational. And get ready to engage. This is Gaming Life with your boy, J Hustle. Let's get it. So, you've grown an interest in diving into the vastness of space. You just graduated the Pilots Federation, and you've successfully proven to your tutorial coach you have what it takes to survive the dangers of the void. The first question on many of you newbies' minds is, what should I do first? Allow me to ease your fears by asking you a better question. What is it you want to do first? Most pilots leaving the comfort of the solar system quickly find out that the emptiness of the void that is the black can be quite overwhelming, and space madness can easily turn many new pilots' minds to goo before they even reach their first 10,000th flight year. Well, I'm here to try and make you realize it doesn't have to seem so daunting. With a flight career of only 209 days, I'm not the most respected veteran pilot of the Independent Pilots Federation, but I might have a few tips and tricks to get you safely back to the bubble with a few 100,000 credits to spare. So take a sip of that furless any-naw coffee and let's dive in. With the potential early 2021 release of Odyssey, hundreds of thousands of people are murmuring about what it'll be like to have boots on the moon in 2021, and I can't lie and say I'm not excited as well. The crew of the new Exodus and now the Turkey Cutter will definitely be ready. But we're not talking about me. You want to hear what you need to do to get like me, right? Well, patience, my young pilot, will be your first and foremost instruction. Because burnout is essentially one of the first things that kill new players, and it can happen much faster than you think. Most people find the slow pacing of travel a bit of a turn-off, but if you're able to entertain your mind while sailing to your destination, the rewards literally speak for themselves. With and without help, pilots are capable of traveling from one corner of the galaxy to the other. Credits have never been more easily accessible, and the addition of fleet carriers means that jumping around the bubble has never been more safe, as potentially running out of fuel becomes a much harder task to achieve. If you're done wondering how best to achieve your lofty dreams of galactic superiority, your first optional hurdle is discovering how you want to play. Do you want to dive into a galaxy fraught with war, both domestic and alien? Then hop straight into open play and hold on to your butts. Players and potential NPC of all kinds will be gunning for your tissue paper-like hull, but typically only when you're flying with something of value. Otherwise, NPC pirates and internal security only enter deck to scan, and if you're empty, they'll leave you alone after a shirt pullover. Private play is where it's at to me, where you can easily play with people you trust. Invite them to your crew, wing, or squadron, and sail the stars together or apart. You'll still have to deal with those pesky NPCs, but even still, everything is better with a friend. Lastly, solo isn't shameful in the slightest, and if you want to do a bit of mining, long-haul trading, or casual player versus environment, solo might be the perfect fit for you. It all just depends on how much of a headache you're prepared for. Once you've chosen your play space, whether you're starting out in a simple sidewinder or a little further along, your goal is your own, and no one can tell you where your fortune lies. Initially, however, I found my road to riches in the form of the earliest courier missions, netting me a cool 100k for traveling a few jumps around the bubble. As long as you keep a fuel scoop handy and turn on some tunes to keep the boredom at bay, you'll be finding yourself sitting at a cool million in no time. But if a bit more action is more your pace, stalking extraction zones of any level might be more entertaining. Just make sure you're not carrying anything of value, Drop into a resource extraction zone, fire up your lasers, and stick close to the roaming security personnel as they shoot down pirates that get a little too trigger happy in the security's jurisdiction. This is reportedly one of the easiest, most entertaining, and fastest ways to make a couple million without much work. Otherwise, mining is the way to go, hands down. And with a few module replacements, perhaps a new ship or two, you could easily be a billionaire in little over a month's flight time, no lie. The issue, fellow pilot, is not how you make your credits, but how you keep them and keep them growing in this game. And that's where my tips are gonna end for now, because truth be told, once you buy the ships you want, outfit your new baby how you want, and explore the areas you want, you're quickly gonna realize the galaxy is filled with things you might not be excited to do. You don't have to engage with these things, but truth be told, you're missing out if you don't. That's where our shift in tone comes, and where we start talking about the end game of Elite Dangerous, what you have to look forward to, and how Frontier Development can make the future of Elite Dangerous and the oncoming Odyssey that more exciting and hopefully engaging. First, though I am still a baby in this game, I can say with certainty that most of the players that have played for years have reached the plateau of fleet carrier and have fully engineered the majority of their fleets, have nothing to make them re-engage in the gameplay. As a newer player, the vast majority of elite pilots that have been gracious enough to give me advice, take me under their wing, or point me in the right direction have pretty much given up on the game right now. And fleet carriers have been regarded as little more than a part-time job that many of them would rather quit. This reality is one of the many reasons I neglected to grind my way to 7 billion, instead choosing to pace out my gameplay sessions, prioritizing fun and short-term goals over the long-term gains. In truth, it only takes at most a week of dedicated farming, grinding, and mind-numbing dedication for any pilot to achieve the highest ranks, the most coveted reputations, and the funds necessary to buy an armada of fleet carriers. And though rebalancing has occurred more times than I care to remember in just my short time of playing this game, the evidence becomes clear that the staying power of the call into the black becomes fainter and fainter without a true purpose for the pilots that love this galaxy. That said, Frontier Development, please develop more content catered to the players not interested in gaining reputation with the Federation, Empire, or the Alliance. As it stands, community goals, Thargoid encounters, and BGS trading isn't detailed enough to keep your hardcore fanbase interested, and that creates a fearful issue in this humble gamer's opinion. Whenever a game chooses to cater to its newer fanbase in order to create growth, the older fanbase begins to lose interest, but only when the systems created to cater to the newer players are too shallow. For example, engineering, though incredibly powerful to the point of potentially breaking the game, once completed, becomes redundant, and there are no opportunities of selling or trading engineering materials unless you're thinking about the actual NPC traders, which doesn't give much in the means of player-to-player interaction. As it stands, there is nothing for elite pilots to do with their hard-earned credits other than hoarding them or hoarding them upon a fleet carrier. Things aren't all sour grapes, however, because Frontier Development and Elite Dangerous have given plenty of content to delve into, and there is a lot of potential for growth currently and in the near future. So let's get the elephant out of the room. If you want to play Elite Dangerous, you're going to have to reserve your mentality to using your ship as you would in a racing game, never really having much interaction with your actual player character. Instead, enjoying the unique sounds and feel of each different ship. I can tell you all with certainty, every ship is designed to be special, fly in a unique way, and give off a sound all its own whenever the engine roars. This truth allows players a certain freedom when it comes to selecting what frigate, fighter, or command ship they want to be using. But there is an untapped potential that I would love to see Frontier Development allow its fans to dive into. That being unique interior ship customization through the uses of modules. Hear me out. Modules are essentially your equipment in the game of Elite Dangerous. Consider these pieces as your armor and weaponry, similar to many other games. Frontier Development have already designed a great number of truly captivating vessels, and though they all have their potential uses, and engineering can make a whole universe of difference, there are still ships that defy competition and truly stagnate the field of player versus player. The current meta is, if it's not an FDR, you shouldn't be PvPing, and if it's not a cutter, you shouldn't be using a prismatic shield. Of course, there are exceptions to any rule, but it is my humble opinion that pilots should be able to rule through engineering without exception in any ship. My first idea to alleviate this issue is adding ship modules that add a new type of ship usage, unique to the various different ships already available within the game. For example, the Imperial Cutter is by far one of the best ships in the game, but what if there was a module that allowed you to change what your interior cockpit looked like, performed, and how many crewmates you could have stationed? Since Odyssey will not have ship interiors upon launch, this is not outside of the realm of possibility, and the game already has many of the necessary mechanics to make this potential an amazing world. In detail, these new modules might be nearly any slot size. However, in using it, you obviously lose the space for something else. Perhaps a slot 8 crew module would have 2 slots for crew mechanics, while a slot 7 or 6 would have 1. Giving larger ships much more usefulness in the realm of crew capacity. Smaller ships might still have the option for a crew module, but their size would obviously be limited and their usefulness might vary. Perhaps a crew module fitted for a crate would add a passenger cabin similar to ones found in other science fiction media, like the Millennium Falcons, which allowed passengers to gather just a little bits away from the cockpit. Additional options like this would give not only veteran players something incredible to customize their ships, but also new ways to play with their friends and new players as well. Potential mechanics that could be introduced could be ship-to-ship boarding, which would easily make Odyssey one of the most impactful DLCs to date, and could truly change the landscape of what people consider great game development. But this is only scratching the surface. The mechanics are already available. It is just the magic of game development that can bring out its true potential. In closing, Elite Dangerous is an awesome game, and though this video wasn't designed to give you all the tools you need to take over the stars and be running your own Corvette or cutter from day one, hopefully this was all the information you needed to know whether Elite Dangerous is a game you'd be prepared to enjoy, because it is my guarantee that you will definitely find enjoyment. You just need to know where to look. If you'd like to hear more, have a more detailed video with my own tips and tricks, or just want to say what's up, you can always post a comment below and I will be sure to read them, or come over to twitch.tv/G4M1NGL1F3 and chill with me over there. Elite Dangerous isn't all I play, but when I'm dual boxing, Elite Dangerous is typically one of them. As always, this has been your humble host, wishing you health and wealth out there in the black. This is Justa Hustle, and we out.